Tuesday, February 9th meeting to order. I'd like to start by introducing our president, Mr. Vince Bullinger.
Thank you, Mohammed. If you could all please rise. If you care to do so, please join me in saluting our flag and reciting the Pledge of Allegiance. I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. Do we have an invocation timer this morning?
We do.
Jonathan, could you please help us out there?
Yes. Given today's theme of Raiders of the Lost Gavel, I looked up some quotes from Raiders of the Lost Ark and came up with this exchange between Marion and Indiana. You're not the man I knew 10 years ago. It's not the years, honey. It's the mileage.
Now be seated. Next order of business to welcome our guests. We have guests back here. Could you please tell us your name, introduce yourself, what brought you here?
Sure. My name is Gwen Riedel, and I just live over in Richfield, so it was a nice drive over here. I found you on Meetup, and I am an independent consultant, and I do leadership development with technical professionals. And so I have, as I was telling Brett, I've been trying to immerse myself in the tech world. So, and I do have a big presentation to a bunch of engineers in about 3.5 weeks. So if you need anybody to fill in a speaking spot, I have material I can practice on you. So that's why I'm here.
Well, you saw me a good fit. I think you came to the right place. Definitely. So, do we have minutes from the previous meeting, Mr. Secretary?
Yes, we do. Reviewing minutes from the last meeting as I queue them up. We had one guest, Eric Walbrecht. Brett was our Toastmaster. Our word of the day was demagogue, a political leader who seeks support by appealing to prejudices rather than by using rational argument. Our speakers were Vince with high performance leadership, evaluated by Tony, and Marie with AlterConf, evaluated by Nick. The awards were Best Speech, Marie, Best Evaluator, Nick, Spark Plug went to Tony, Word Picture went to Marie, WOO.
Word of the day.
I'm struggling with that one. And wow, some of my acronyms here are challenging me today. That is all I have. Thank you. Wise old owl.
Nice.
Went to Tony. What's VI? Visual impact. Went to Vince.
Thank you. Do we have any applicants? I have a few. So, officer training round 2. I believe we are done. Correct? So myself, Clea, Mohammed, and somebody else? Mike, Alex, Wood?
Recently or in general?
Well, in the last month or so?
Yeah, I did it in 2 weeks ago.
Yep, there you go. So we're good. Awesome, great. So we're on track for this club program. And of course, this past Saturday, if you were unaware, we captured the elusive gilded gavel. And I am shocked that Mohammed passed up the opportunity to use it. He just wanted to protect the integrity of our lecture here. Myself, Mike, and Brett went and we obtained this. There were a couple other challengers, but they were both late and they only had 2 people anyway. Anyway, so it was personally, my review of their meeting was that it was a fantastic group. They are mostly people who have been past district leaders, and people who have been area directors. Above that, people who have been here to actually run training events, they're members of that club. Most of them are dual members. I thought that was kind of an interesting thing because most of them are dual members. They have another club and they go here to this other group, the Crest Toastmasters group. And what their point there is to help other clubs improve. So all these people are dual members and they have all these best practices from all their external clubs. And I thought they ran a really great meeting and they have a lot of really talented people. And it shows a lot about how you can kind of learn a lot of things from visiting other clubs. It's definitely a good way to grow yourself and also get new ideas for the club as well. Anybody else have anything to add? Mike, Brett?
I did bring a guest with you.
You did. he was able to talk his teenage daughter into going. That's pretty impressive. Hey, you want to wake up super early on a Saturday morning and go hang out with a bunch of old people? And
She was quite disappointed that she had to be 18, so that gives her that 3 years before she'll be eligible to join.
That's what she told him in order to make him feel good. All right, so the call for speakers was open recently for both Code Camp and Open Source North. If you think Open Source North, that's weird. You know, Code Camp's name was so the call for speakers being open now makes a lot of sense. But Open Source North, that was back in October, wasn't it? Well, for some reason they decided to shift, and now they're doing their event in June, I believe. So the call for speakers is open, and I already submitted my talk for both Code Camp and Open Source North. I also reach out to both of them to. Of course, I just asked last night, but reach out to them to see if we can once again hold each of those events. Something called Mini Demo. That is next Thursday, February 18th at 6 p.m. at the Depot in Minneapolis. But I know none of you are going to go there because I'll be presenting at the Minnesota Enterprise Mobile User Group, and you'll all be going to that. So, sorry, Mini Demo. But it is an interesting thing. It's kind of a good synergy with our group in the sense that people are there to pitch their elevator speeches and things like that. And this would be a good group for them to test that kind of thing out. Let's see, TechMasters After Dark, if you haven't been paying attention, Mike is going to be hosting a parliamentary procedure in action right here. This is a Toastmasters module, and it will help us all get better at parliamentary procedure, which I'm trying to be okay at, but I still think I have some problems. Anyway, so that is on Tuesday, February 23rd, 6 to 7:30 p.m. Doors open at 5:30. Try to get the word out. I've sent out a flyer to everybody, so you should have that. And let's see what else. Oh, I should have them with me. I think I might have them either there in my car. But anyway, I've sent out the link for that so you can print them out yourself. And one thing I ran into a parliamentary procedure Toastmasters group that meets on the third Saturday of each month, and that would be the 20th in Crystal. So if you wanted to proselytize the event, Mike or anybody else, then you might want to go ahead and check out that event, that particular group. Also, I think it would behoove us during the event to say, hey, if you're interested in that, go to that group. You know, if you felt this was a good module and you want to learn more about parliamentary procedure, then go to that group. So I'll definitely do that. And one thing I wanted to mention real quick here was that I had a couple months ago or a month ago or whatever, I was trying to figure out what the speech contests were going to be this spring, and I couldn't find any information anywhere. And so I was looking at past spring conferences, and in the past they had done international speech contests and evaluation in the spring. So that's what I had assumed we were doing. But apparently now that all of the events are taking shape, we're doing table topics. So quick schedule change here. On the 23rd, we'll be having a table topics contest, not an evaluation contest. So we kind of redirected a little bit, no big deal. You know, we're not too far or too close to it, but we'll still be having the international speech contest on the following Tuesday. So what we'll try to do is I'd like to have a speech that is table topics focused, and then we'll do however many table topics we can get. Luckily, it's just a table topics question, so hopefully we'll have a lot more volunteers. So, yeah.
So we go into a regular meeting, but or extend the table topics for everybody to.
I think we'll probably only have enough time for one speech, and I'd like it to be table topics focused. I'll reach out that to you. You will be the speaker that day, so I'll talk to you later. That'll be it for me. Anybody have any other things to add? Awards tracker. Get out your manuals. Everybody bring their competent leader. I'm gonna keep doing this so we all start doing it.
Competent communicator.
Competent communicator. That's fantastic as well, especially if you're giving a speech.
Yeah.
Okay, good. Great. All right. So here's this. Do we have any updates to this? Anybody give a manual speech last week? Yeah. All right, great. So I'll get you on there.
A couple of weeks ago, mine would be 6 instead of 7.
A couple weeks ago? Okay, great. You know this work. You're gonna key us into that. I want to do it like on the fly so we don't forget it. And cool beans. One thing I wanted to mention at the Press Toastmaster group, they were both manual speeches. Like 2 speeches, both manual. Everybody had their competent leaders out. Everybody was knocking them out of the park. So goes to show what great leadership will do. Okay. So the Toastmaster today, I remember Toastmasters. So Mike has been not only the founding member, but he's been a leader in our club ever since its inception, and has been very instrumental in getting a lot of relationships going and bringing a lot of people in and giving us a lot of knowledge and expertise. Please help me welcoming our Toastmaster today, Mike Bankovich.
Thank you, Vince, and I want to welcome everyone to this morning edition of Trophy Toastmasters, TechMasters galore. By gosh, we went out there on Saturday morning, got up early. Vince, Brett, my daughter, and we made it, and we took this thing home. And I tell you what, they were pretty fierce about trying to keep this trophy from us. You know, you feel good about going out and really earning something because it's like, you know, you did something great. And you have fun doing that, you know? And there's no better way to start out having fun in the morning than by asking someone who's a trophy to this club, someone who has really, really stepped up to the point of being vice president of education from the very beginning and making this all happen. Our court judge this morning is none other than Alex Permushka. Alex, you got something to kind of kick us off?
Yes, I can go.
All right.
Thank you, Mike. So when man goes to the confessional and say, Father, I have sinned. What was your sin, my child? Well, I used curse language. When did you use this awful language? Well, yesterday I played golf and hit incredible drive, like 250 feet, and it hit a wire. Who would put a wire over there? Oh, is that when you cursed? No. And when ball fell on the ground, squirrel picked it up. Oh, is that when you cursed? No. When squirrel was hopping away, hog jumped on it and took it. Oh, is that when you cursed? No. As hog was soaring, he squeezed the squirrel and ball dropped into trees. Oh, is that when you cursed? No. Ball was bumping between branches and fell in the green and was rolling and stopped like half foot from the hole. Oh, that time you cursed. No. What the heck is going on? Did you miss that pulse? What the heck is going on? Oh yes, that was the time.
A hole in one. What a trophy. I gotta love that. Our indicator timer today is Jonathan. Jonathan, you want to give us a quick overview, just real quick?
All right, real quick. I will be keeping track of everyone's speeches. First off, we'll be doing table topics. Minute is green. I'll be holding up the green card. 1.5 minutes will be yellow, and 2 minutes is red. Unless we are going with the shortened, which is 1 minute, 1:15, 1:30. Is there a no? Okay, we're going with the standard. I will be holding up for speeches the green at the 5-minute mark, yellow at the 6-minute mark, red at the 7. And for evaluations, green will be at the 2 minutes, yellow will be at the 2.5, and red will be at the 3 minutes.
All right. So now that we know what we're looking for on timing, let's think about our language. When we think about language, we think about grammar, syntax, how we string things together, how we create word pictures, and all of that. And our grammarian today actually has got a great background on this, stretching all the way back to when he was 9 years old. Back in 3rd grade, he was in a contest writing up an ad for the recycler of a local grocery store. Not only did he win, but he got his stuff printed on all of the different bags. And in fact, today, everyone that goes into the store gets a little mug that says, "In appreciation of Vince Bollinger, our recycling king." Let's welcome Vince.
Thank you, Mr. Toastmaster. A solid 50% of that story was true.
You wanted to do it.
I guess they will probably want us to keep that up. All right, so I have a few things that I have to do as far as being the grammarian is concerned. One thing is to give you a word of the day. We are trying to improve our vocabulary. Also, it will kind of help you keep yourselves on your toes to figure out how do I fit in a particular word, whether I pick the word the or jocund in this case. Jocund means marked by or suggestive of high spirits or lively mirthfulness. So really, really happy, jocund. For example, when you win an award, you make it very jocund. And I will also be watching for crutch words, filler words, things like ahs and ums, things like that. So if you start hearing a bell, know that that is meant to help you out, not to hurt you. So I'm not trying to get in your case, I'm trying to help you. It is meant to be love, right? We're here to evaluate each other and improve. So watch out for that. You'll know that you said something like RL, and I'll be watching for other crutch words. Thank you, Mr. Toastmaster.
All right. And not to be outdone, we have 60 seconds of Toastmaster excellence. Someone who's going to bring us that 1-minute Toastmastership to kind of give us that educational moment. We have Nick Gingill, who's going to be giving us a minute of excellence.
Thank you very much. Well, today's educational topic is going to be on how to get ready for your educational minute. So if you're like me and you run out of ideas in the morning, what you can do, you can always pull out this wonderful magazine, and I'm sure everybody subscribes to it, right? Toastmasters. So this is the February's copy of it. So I opened it up, and oh my goodness, there was a lot of useful tips. Okay, so you can learn about how to present table topics survival tips. You can get the tips for the topics master, and a lot of other useful tips like how to tell told stories and how to be creative and everything else. So feel free, this is really useful material, and do not be afraid to use it. So thank you very much.
Excellent. And now we move into that most interesting part of Toastmasters. We get a chance to practice our impromptu speaking, a chance to learn how to respond when you get asked a question out of the blue. Our topic master today told me that she has actually done some incredible things when it comes to security and when it comes to understanding how to craft up a way of identifying intruders and things like that. She has actually put together some incredible work and has done some great stuff and has won awards at Medtronic for excellence in security. So let's welcome Marie Fromm with our table topics.
Thank you, Mr. Toastmaster, ladies and gentlemen. Today, I'll be introducing the table topics. As our Toastmaster described, it's the impromptu speaking portion. Give everyone a chance to speak. There's a couple things. There'll be the timing done by Jonathan, holding up the appropriate time cards about whether you're on time or over time. Vince will be doing the checking of the word of the day, jocund, and the person that will be, there will be an award, the wise old owl, for the person with the most descriptive and wise answer to the questions of the day. And they will, in fact, likely be jocund and happy. So anyway, for starters, who has not got a role already assigned and is eligible for the table topics? Usually we do.
Okay. Basically, we're just going to be sitting these speakers and general evaluator being
Okay.
That's all. Everyone else is eligible.
Sure. Okay. Everyone else. Who's a member? Okay. So the field is open here. So, Clea, what award or trophy in your life are you the most proud of, and why?
Thank you, Table Topics Master. That's a very good question. And when I got the email from Mike last night, I had to think hard because I can't think of an award that I'm really proud of. And I don't know if that's because I haven't won one, which I doubt that. But I think it's because I'm not someone who's dwells on the past or dwells on one specific event. You get an award, you have some accolades, and you move on, and you're proud of it. But the one that I mentioned, which may precipitate what you're going to say later, is in 3rd grade, I did a science project that compared mold and cheese, and it won best in the region. And that included tasting the different types of cheese, which are essentially mold, and how they compare to actual mold. We didn't eat the mold, but if you think about it, cheese is mold. And I guess I had a bunch of evaluators who were gourmet and they enjoyed stinky cheese, and I went to regionals and I won. That was my 3rd grade award. Thank you.
Mohammed, which awards do you think are better, team awards or individual awards, and why?
Thank you, Madam Data Topics Master, fellow TechMasters. Which awards are more important, team awards or individual awards? I think that depends on the type of event that they're given out for. Team awards are important because as teams gel well together and work well together, produce great output, they should be awarded, whether it's in a sports event or at work or in production or producing something or the other. Individuals should be awarded as well, maybe not as part of, hey, out of your team, this one person did better than everybody else, but more on an individual contributor basis or individual sports events like, let's say, badminton, tennis, golf. Well, I guess golf has a team. But, those kinds of things. It's unfair to say that individuals shouldn't be awarded, and teams should be awarded, not avoided. But I think it just depends on the type of event, type of award. For example, the best speaker award, speaker should be awarded versus, it's a team debate, the team wins. There's both sides of the equation. So I think it just depends on the occasion, and people should be awarded, and people should take them jokingly or jokingly, something like that. Thank you.
Brett, grade schools have tended to giving out more awards these days. Do you think that's a good or a bad thing?
Thank you, Madam Table Topics Master. Schools giving out more awards, good or bad? I've never really thought too much about it. I suppose if you're giving awards to people who really don't deserve them, it may be a bad thing. I know that there's people who criticize the kind of self-esteem awards, like we don't keep score, we all get an award at the end, we all have fun. I personally think that probably isn't great because it takes away some of the incentive to really, really push yourself and strive for your personal best. That also goes to the question you asked Mohammed, which is better, a team award or a personal award? And that's a pretty interesting question because while it does really depend on context, there's also a different skill set. It's really easy to be good at something. We're all probably good at our jobs. Maybe you're the best programmer on your team, but that doesn't necessarily mean that you're a good team member. Being a team member is a different skill. And sometimes it involves compromise and other things that you may not be good at. So depending on your personality, I think a team award could potentially show growth in places that a personal award wouldn't, because it's a totally different skill. And if anybody's been on a project that failed or something that's failed, it's largely people problems. So being able to navigate people problems and function as a valuable team member, I think is a very, very important skill that maybe a reward is more beneficial for. So with that, I'll turn it back over to you. Thank you.
Alex, as far as awards, what's your thoughts on team awards versus individual awards?
Thank you, Madam Table Topic Master, fellow TechMasters, and yes. If you go very simple approach, you may say yes. In order to win any personal award, you have to do something. So yes, personal award is very important because the person has to perform and achieve something. If you go to team awards, it's great because team as a whole group consists of individuals achieved something. And in many cliche ways, we may say that team award is more important than personal award. But here I got one very interesting paradox in life. And tell me a short story from my family. I have an older son, Tim, who is in favor of team awards. And in general, he is quite talented, fast thinker, good motor skills, so in any sports he would contribute. But what he does is like he's rooting for team awards, so he never exceeds average. So as a result, his team never gets award because he is not kind of trying to get his personal award. So it turns out for me, in order for team to get a team award, every individual on a team need to have a drive to get personal award at his performance level. If everybody on the team thinks somebody else will push the team and do an award, we will have no personal award, no team award, and essentially nothing exciting happens. And now, this is my challenge, how to motivate him or to get with you can do it, but you don't want to do it, and as a result, nobody gets anything. Thank you.
Nick, in schools today, oftentimes in high schools and colleges, sports awards receive a lot of attention and notoriety, but awards are not really given to people in tech and science, or they're certainly not publicized to the same degree. How do you feel about that, and do you think that there's a way that we could focus more attention on people learning rather than sports teams in schools and colleges?
Sure, absolutely. Thank you. Tabletop Master. Well, I'll tell you, I not necessarily agree that we don't have enough tech awards. I mean, depending on where you go, they say you have to use your personal experiences in answering table topics. Well, I remember when I was back in school, they had championships for math majors. I was a math major, and we had competitions, and we've been awarded awards, and it was really valuable to have. But I'll probably answer in a little bit different manner. Say the award is only really award for you if you really paid a lot of force into it. Like for example, I'll take this math award that I received once. We had a championship. It was like a U.S. Canada championship, and I was part of it. And I was always good with math, so I got the award. And everybody was like, "Hey, Nick, how'd you get it?" And this is like, this is unbelievable. I'm like, well, back in my village where I was growing up, there was my grandmother. She was teaching me how to milk goats, right? And that I could never get a hold of because it really took like some technical skills, and then the goat would like really let you like come close to it. So I was always like struggling with that. And then by the end of the summer, I was finally able to milk the goat. And that feeling that I got at that time was like 10 times more than the feeling that I got from, winning the championship, because it really took me a lot of physical effort to get there. So I guess that's like, thank you.
William, there's a policy of the Nobel Prize Committee that they only name 3 winners of a group for a Nobel Prize. Do you think that's fair to only name 3 people of a team that make a scientific discovery?
Thank you, Ms. Tabletop Master. That is an excellent question. However, today I'm going to defer that question and answer one similar to Nick's. I'm going to share a story from my background about when I got a reward, and I really didn't feel like I deserved it. Therefore, I didn't get what I think they intended to give me. So I did some teaching for a local, we'll say company. And at one point they called me in and said, "Hey, congratulations, we want to give you this award." Oh, great. And I thought the award was something like most of my class passed or got the best scores, something related to that. And it turned out it was based on attendance. All of my students were coming to the class, and apparently other classes didn't have great attendance. So I got this award, and it was this little plastic, golden cup, and it has a sticker on the front of it, and I'm sure you get a page of stickers that say best husband, best wife, whatever. And this one said, congratulations, very generic. And I remember the feeling when I got this award, thinking, what is your intention? Because what you're really doing is making me embarrassed to even take this award. And so this was something that's always stuck with me, and I kept this award. It's still in my bedroom, in my office. And I look at it, and I always think, whenever I'm going to award somebody, or whenever I'm going to recognize somebody, make sure that they know what they're being recognized for, and make sure that it's something like that. And with that, I'll turn it back to you.
Vince, an unusual aspect of the Nobel Prize Committee is they don't name anyone who's died. So as a result, Rosalind Carter, who was key to understanding and discovering one of the most important discoveries of humanity, DNA, was not recognized because she died of ovarian cancer before the ceremony. They instead named a lesser contributor and named 3 men to win the Nobel Prize for the discovery of DNA. Do you think that's fair? And would you suggest changes to the Nobel Prize Committee rules?
Thank you, Mr. Madam TechMasters and TechMasters and our guests. So, should we change this rule to allow people who have passed away to win an award? And I think that the answer is absolutely yes. The idea that someone who contributed greatly to a project in the top 3, for example, let's just pretend that we're going to keep the 3% rule. But to think that somebody who was a strong contributor is now ineligible because they passed away, it sounds kind of the opposite. Like they should actually be more weighting in favor of somebody who's passed away, so that when a tragedy happens, like somebody passed away due to ovarian cancer, their family will be able to honor them much more greatly, and it would actually be kind of a good stamp on their career to be able to point that out. And we do things like, what was it? I can't remember the guy's name. Catcher for the Giants, he passed away. He was doing some great charity work in Mexico or Cuba, and he died in a plane crash. And he was fairly young, but he had a great career up to that point. They put him in the Hall of Fame right away. They didn't say, well, sorry, you're only in the league for 6 years or whatever, so we're not going to let you go into the Hall because your stats weren't that great. Well, he was projected to be one of the best catchers of all time, definitely, but he didn't just happen not by me. So that would be a similar scenario to that kind of thing. And I think that we should definitely focus on that sort of thing as far as what kind of message are we really trying to set? We're trying to make sure that we get a person on stage and that we give money to people who are alive, or are we trying to promote science and work peace and things like that? So with that, I would like to pass this on over and make sure that we know that if we make that kind of change, we have a lot more people who are justified. Thank you.
Thank you. With that, I'll turn it back over to our Toastmaster.
Thank you, Marie. And I think the award for the best table topics leadership of the day goes to Marie. All right, with this, I'm going to call for a short 5-minute break. I know of one speaker. I don't believe we have any other people that have talked to me about also wanting to speak. So we have one speech. I'll need the general evaluator. I believe we have 2 evaluators. I'm going to ask that we have both evaluators come up because we're going to do something a little bit fun with that. All right, so let's take the break.
No, my brain doesn't.
I'm going to try.
You're gonna try to break it?
According to my agenda here, Mohammed, you are the general evaluator.
Yes, sir.
And Leah is our speaker. And William is our
You might as well smash
I would suggest is that you have the evaluators, one of them focus on one part, like I feel I felt, and the other one is like I saw, and something like that. Okay? Right, but we could have almost, I kind of give them both a chance to say, okay, you approach it from. There's 2 ways you can do an evaluation. One is the Ralph Smedley, and I think did you take the Smedley or did you take the Carnegie? Okay, so he took the Smedley, which is the I feel, and then you're going to do the evaluation sandwich.
You did good. You did bad. You did good.
No, I always deliver.
It's the Smedley.
Who gets this?
And I think, give it to, that's what Bob is.
They're both wearing blue.
He's got better handwriting.
All right, there you go. Better.
I did not.
Trust me, you
Don't worry, it's mostly
Oh, lots of drama.
I do need a title for this, so after we're done.
Eating the steps.
Beating the steps?
Eating the steps.
Okay.
5 to 7.
Yeah, about 5.
Okay, all right. So what is
Specifically,
So I explain.
Carnegie sandwich. Evaluation. You did this good. I liked your speech. You did this. You did this. I didn't think you did this well. So you choose you, right? And at the end, you say,
I can,
you know, oh, your speech was good.
I attend.
Where medley is,
Four
your speech made me feel this. So I talk about how it made me feel personally as opposed to me telling her how to do that.
I'm making those.
Right, but Carnegie is all about the,
The guys
You did-
to
you did this really well.
people
you do this better, and you did this really well. It's the,
And
I think the other one is, I felt like this, I felt like that, and I felt like this.
Actually, you get a chance to see a lot of
Okay.
different.
My role there.
Yeah, you do the same.
Okay.
Okay, so all right, let's do this.
Well, okay,
Yeah, I was looking at that.
Here's the, those are related by this one is better. So I'll be able to sit here and this one, you got much faster. Okay, I'm using this for my actual agenda.
I also attend the deaf one because we it's over in the
Yeah.
and it has, it's an outsource. It'll be Thursday afternoon. And that's kind of a cool, there's always an interesting, sometimes it's,
Things like that too.
sometimes it's.
Color of the screen.
Actually, we use
Yeah, similar, exactly.
Yeah, actually, that is on my list.
So I think, if you've got an interest in learning about security,
Because I've got the instruction policy, what it means is, they have these more, they have, pick a couple pages out of these two sites, so they pop up. It might be nice to have,
and also, for anybody
type
interested in
in
security,
the name and what their question is. And then have the colors change.
it's pretty,
Yeah, they have
it's
that.
a security conference.
Yeah, they activate.
So you've only since 19.
So I got, yeah.
Last year was 17,000.
About 10,000.
I hooked up on that today because I got.
Okay, we can do it.
You definitely, if you go.
Yes.
Because, actually, I bring stuff specifically to hack. So I'll bring a tag laptop, and bring a specific, actually, I've got a Nexus phone that is actually a hacking class. So, stuff like that, it's a fun place to go. You don't think about information. Some stuff, I won't wander down Apple Watch and my iPhone.
Yeah.
I'll have some articles.
You're the idea.
And there's a piece that was like 8% really evil. It just is. It's pretty interesting trying to figure out what to do. And I thought so. There was, I was around 2000, I don't know, 2001. And there was a, further from.
I mean, you're
Hello. And have your
Yeah.
You know what?
Oh, I love this gavel. All right, come on back, Alex. This is the elusive gilded gavel. We still have it, by gosh. And in fact, if you go out to techmasters.azurewebsites.net, our prototype site, there's actually an article there that I wrote up that has a picture of us stealing away the gavel, but it's out there for anyone who's interested. And in fact, we're going out and we're developing all kinds of cool applications for TechMasters that are going to be just change the way that people toast. And I think that's just kind of one of the fun things about life is you get a chance to really go out and make a difference. And when you think about what you're doing, going out and beating, the status quo, you think about people who are out there working in different roles. And we have today our first speaker, our only speaker today, is going to be Quia Levinson, and she is going to give us a primer on what it takes to be able to be effective in a role. Let's welcome Beating the Status Quo, Quia Levinson.
Thank you. Good morning, everyone.
Morning.
Good
Morning. Yeah. So my speech today is called Beating the Status Quo, and it actually has to revolve around sales. So whether you do sales for a living, or you are an independent consultant, or you need to get a project across, one way or another, you're going to have to present and sell your idea. So this speech will take three elements that I think are fundamental to any presentation or any pitch, and how to present them and get your point across. So a famous Harvard professor once said, the number one reason companies fail is a lack of sales. And I would say that could be translated to the number one reason projects fail, or the number one reason people aren't successful. They're not able to present and convince people that their idea is the way they want to go. So, does anyone know what the ultimate problem with selling something is? What is the biggest barrier in a sale, or presentation, or buy-in?
Connecting.
Good. But
Awareness.
Awareness. It's actually the status quo. So people are really resistant to change. So I was thinking of a few examples last night of things that no one wanted to do, but now are ubiquitous throughout society and life. Think about the computer. No one wanted to work with a computer. The growth of sales for a computer went from basically non-existent through inception till the 90s, when people started to adapt. And even then it was resistance. Now, everyone owns a computer in some form. Everyone's on the internet, and no one can really function and live without it. Another example is, think about the tablet. Do you remember when tablets came out? Everyone thought, why do we need a tablet? I have a smartphone, I have my laptop. What is this weird touchy device that is now supposed to make my life easier? Who has tablets in here? I have two. So that you have five. Exactly. So they're completely brought into society, but somebody had to beat the status quo. So the biggest elements in the status quo that people are resistant to is fear. They don't know what this is, and this can be said for when you're selling something or pitching an idea, a new process within your project. Lack of confidence in you. They don't trust you. They don't know how well this is going to happen or be implemented. They feel that they're not being consulted, so you're not asking their opinion. You're just telling them something to do. There's low motivation to change. If it's not really broken, why fix it? But all of these things are elements that you have to take into account when you present an idea to someone. So when you have an idea, or you want to pitch something, or a sale, whatever it may be, you need to come up with your objective. So there are three elements that come into play. Research, know your topic, and know your customer. If you have a manager who is extremely cost conscious, and money is the main objective in his decisions, you need to come up with a way to present your idea that alleviates his fear of too much spend. Another thing you need to present is what sets you apart, what sets this idea apart. So why are you better than what exists, the status quo, or what can you do to complement the status quo to move your process or idea forward? The third thing is how you can deliver, which I think is one of the most important elements. You can come up with the psychological pitch and you can overcome some of the objectives or fears, but if you can't deliver and can't get a tangible way that you are going to deliver, it's for naught. So no ability to deliver will also bring back into the fears of the status quo. So fear that it won't be executed, fear that somebody is not confident to do something, or just comfortable where they are. So when you do a sale or a pitch or a presentation, keep that in mind when you're talking to who your end user is. Is it your business partner? Is it your manager? Is it your team? Because you also have to sell to your team to, say, do more testing before it's implemented, or in my case, work on a job, even though we may not have manager contact. There are elements that you have to present to get the buy-in. So with that, I leave you the 3 ideas: research, know your target, know what sets you apart, and find a way that you can present how you can deliver. Thank you.
Thank you, Clea.
No problem.
Now we're going to move into probably the best part about Toastmasters. Well, the other best part about Toastmasters. I mean, the best part of Toastmasters, obviously, is the table topics, the 1-minute Toastmastership, the prepared speeches, and the best part is also the evaluations, because it's all great. That's the trouble with Toastmasters. There's so much goodness. But this is where we get to learn what we did well and how we can improve our process. And we're going to talk about what it is that we can do. And to lead us in that, we've got a Karate Kid who has really done a lot of great things. And when you talk about trophies and things like this, you'll have to ask Mohammed about his karate experience. Welcome our general evaluator today, Mohammed Faridi.
Karate Kid, I guess I never really thought about it that way. And there was no awards or awarded or received at that time. Thank you, Vince. All right, so the general evaluator. The general evaluator, first we'd like to call for the best speaker vote, which I don't think we need to. Does Clea hands down? Yeah. The best. All right. Now I'd like to call on our evaluators, and we have 2 evaluators today evaluating Clea, which was a great idea suggested by Mike. So we have Brett and William. Brett, if you would evaluate Clea first, that would be awesome.
Clea, thank you very much for your speech. I found it quite interesting, and I enjoyed much of what you did. So I'm going to start with the beginning. First, when you walked up there, I kind of felt you had a lot of stuff in your hand. You had some books. I'm not sure what those were for. I'm not sure. I don't think you talked much about them or showed them. And you were a little bit distracted at first. So I felt there was a little more eye contact that was being given. But once the speech started, I really felt your presence. You made great eye contact with us. I was watching the whole time, and I think everybody got eye contact, so that was really, really good. I felt that each of us were kind of members of your little audience here and getting some participation from you from that perspective. Body language was really good. You have, as you're doing right now, same thing I have. When I give speeches, this is my safe space. And when you're not here, your hand gestures are great. I feel like they really accentuate what you're saying. You're a hand speaker, and I really can just feel the impact of it. And then they go back here. So that's something that I think you could maybe do a little bit better with. Vary your safe space. Maybe just hold your hands behind your back. In terms of content, I really enjoyed it. The 3 examples you gave, I was able to relate to my own personal experiences, where you say you have to prove to your boss that, well, it makes monetary sense. You have to prove that you can deliver. And the third one was, what sets you apart? I felt that was really great advice. I think it would have been more impactful for me if you would have elaborated a bit more on them and even had a funny little slide for each one, like an angry boss, like swimming in piles of money, and some funny picture behind you kind of illustrating the situation would have really driven those points home for me better. But all in all, I really liked the speech. I found you had a lot of great insight, and I thank you for it.
William, if you would please evaluate Clea.
Thank you, Mr. General Evaluator. Yeah. For your evaluation, this was kind of a dual evaluation for the Bell of Love. This was kind of a dual evaluation, and this was a speech where sometimes we listen to speeches and we get sucked into the speech and we forget about our roles, our tasks. So this was one where sales is important to me, and I've heard people say that everyone's selling, always be closing, all those kind of jokes. So I did get sucked into your speech a little bit, and I had to do this kind of after the fact. So first of all, the good things that I like. Your topic is engaging. I think everyone who works in technology understands that, yes, you are selling, whether you're a salesperson or not, you're always selling yourself, you're selling your capabilities, you're selling your function, the things that you can offer to an organization. We're always selling. It's obviously important to you. I could tell that you were very comfortable doing this speech, and this is something that you have knowledge in and experience in, and you were very comfortable up there presenting this information. You gave us some specific takeaways. You said things like lack of confidence. We had a person do some home improvement for our house, and his price was the lowest, but I had no confidence in that what he could do was what he said he could do. And so we ended up going a bit more expensive. And I still beat myself over the head for that one. But I didn't have confidence in the guy, even though his price was rock bottom lowest. I'm sorry, I don't believe that you can do what you say you can do. So lack of confidence, these were some of the takeaways that you said. These are the things that you need to be aware of when you're doing a sales type thing. Now things that I thought you could have done differently. When you talked about status quo, I understand what status quo means to a point, but I didn't understand how to break away from it, and that was the topic of your speech. So I would have liked to see, and maybe I just didn't get it, I would have liked to see more, this is the average, and this is what you would do to not be average. Your transitions, you named off, I'll give you an example. You said, I'll give you an example of a personal computer and its sales from the 80s to the 90s. You gave an example about tablets. But I felt that there was a lot of examples and I kind of got lost. Where are we at in the speech? Because when you gave the computer and the tablet, I thought, okay, now she's going to follow up with conclusion. And then you hit me with research, know your topic, and know your customer. And then I said, okay, we're still on the bottom. So I wasn't clear where all the transitions were, but it was a lot of good detail and it was a lot of good takeaways. These are things that I can apply right away. And I thought your confidence again in this speech was the best that I've seen so far. Thank you very much.
Thank you.
All right. With those two great evaluations in mind, we could all bow our head. And for those who thought Brett did a better evaluation, please raise your hand. Thank you. For those who thought William did a better evaluation, please raise your hands. Thank you. All right, and now I'd like to call on the grammarian for the word picture of the day, the grammarian report.
Thank you, Mr. General Evaluator. I would come up there, but I wanted to make sure that I read out my report because I took notes over here. So I'll be up there in just a minute. Let's see, as far as odds and ends are concerned, I don't think I heard any from Jonathan. Alex, Brett, and Mike each had just the one that I noticed. And Nick, I have to say two things between Nick and Marie. I stopped getting Marie because I noticed that I was kind of knocking out her game, so I stopped. But I was keeping track, so you did get 16. And you obviously were up there for a while, so that is expected. You did use the word of the day, thank you very much for that. But Nick, again, still in with 20. But man, can we commend this guy? I mean, he's talking, I'm going, he's never even playing. I don't care, whatever, I'll do the whole speech without. I'd like to commend him on that. In that regard, I would like to point out the lack of acknowledgement from interruption from Nick and how great that is, but would like to offer words of encouragement from Will and Hobbit to please emulate Nick in just a wonder to not acknowledge things like that, because both of you said thank you for that. Ignore it. Don't let it get you. Just like our Iron Man unflappable Nick. As far as word pictures of the day, we were a little bit light on the word of the day usage. As far as word pictures is concerned, I am one of the stingiest award giver outers, and I was really looking for a lot of things. I don't know, maybe I'm just not good at picking up on it, but I tried listening, and I didn't hear anything that really jumped out at me. I'd be willing to take nominations, but
This is trophy day.
exactly. Clea, do you have a nomination?
Yes, I would like to nominate Nick for his description of milking a goat.
All right, Nick, come on up.
Thank you very much.
Thank you, Mr. General Evaluator.
Thank you, Mr. Grammarian, for your awarding of the word picture. And next, I'd like to call on our timer. Jonathan, if you would give us the timer report.
Yes. All right. For our table topics, everyone was either in the green or the yellow, so great job on that. We've got Clea and Will that were in the green, so that's that 1 minute to 1.5 minutes. And Mohammed, Brett, Alex, Nick, and Vince were all within the 1.5 to 2 minutes, so that'd be the yellow. Alex, I think, gets the award for cutting the closest. That was 1 minute, 59 seconds, so just a second under. Great job. As far as the speakers, we've got only the one, Clea. You were just a tad under the 5-minute mark, but otherwise, good job. You were pretty close. And for the evaluators, we have Brett, who was at 2 minutes, 10 seconds, so in the green. Will at 2 minutes, 38 seconds in the yellow. The other thing that I keep track of is the meeting time. We started maybe a minute late. We got Toastmasters, maybe a couple, or table topics table topics were started right on time. Break was about 5 minutes late. Getting back from the break was about 7 minutes late if we were going by the slides, but having only the one speaker, we kind of got everything back on track, back on time. So with that, I'll hand it back over.
Thank you. All right, so now it's time for the award ceremony. Oh, no, I'm sorry, you're right. It's table topics, yes. I guess I jumped down. So now next I'd like to call on Marie for reporting the table topics.
So for table topics, it was really a tough choice because I have milk goats and they're very challenging to milk. I'll say that. Interesting creatures. And I also really like Vince's description, came up with a good example of another great that was recognized after death. And so given that tough choice, I think I'll award it to Nick for that description. Or Vince. Sorry.
Thank you, Marie. All right, now we'll award the best evaluator and the best speaker. We'll start with evaluations, because evaluations are key. And the better evaluator today is William. Thank you. Sir. And the best speaker today was a great part. This came down to the wire. And my general evaluation of the meeting. Today's meeting was great. We had a great attendance. We started a little bit behind schedule, but we were still chugging along, having a good meeting. I like the slides. I like the way things are moving in that direction. The one thing we did have is one speaker. We usually try to strive for 2 speakers. For more seasoned tech masters like myself, we should have our pocket speeches in hand. So if you don't have a pocket speech, you should work on having one and having it in your pocket. I do have one, but it's not in my pocket, unfortunately. It's in my other folder. But those sorts of things shouldn't preclude us from having 2 speakers. We should try or strive for having 2 speakers so that there is a healthy competition, so we can award appropriately and give people the opportunity to have impromptu speaking, be able to pull something out of their pocket and say, hey, I got something, I should be on there. But other than that, I think we had a great meeting, and I'll turn it back over to our Toastmaster.
Thank you, Mohammed. And at this point, I get to do my little 2-second overview of what I thought, and also hand out probably what I consider to be one of the more coveted awards. This award actually is named after a person. When I joined Toastmasters, when I first joined Toastmasters, the very first meeting I went to, Loris was there. This was back in the 90s. And there was a lady there named Dee Bernay. And she was just this red-headed wonder of energy and just enthusiasm. And she always said, Mike, you need to smile more. I'm like, why? So, but she had so much spark and energy. She died of cancer a few years ago, breast cancer. She had fought a number of different things, but she was just an inspiration to everyone who knew her. And after the memorial, the Realtors 2512 created this award called the Spark Plug, the Dee Bernay Spark Plug Memorial Award. And that's where this came from in our club too, as I brought it to us, because it's meant to give this to someone who has really brought a lot of spark, a lot of energy, a lot of enthusiasm, gets you thinking, gets you moving, gets the blood going, but someone who's always optimistic and positive too. And so I want to give this award to someone who really, I felt, did a great job with that, with her table topics, the way that she was able to reach out and really give us some great questions and drive this through. This is going to Lily Fromm today. And with that, the only other thing I'd like to do, but I know it's not the right time to do it, is to show off the techmasters.azurewebsites.net, the proposed new site, which I'm hoping that we can get someone to transfer the DNS name to point it to be the actual official site, because on there I've got a nice write-up about how we went out and captured the elusive gilded gavel. All right, and with that, I'm going to end my portion of this and hand this back to our president, Vince Bollinger.
Thank you, Mr. Toastmaster, and thank you for bringing this up so that we can use it as much as possible, because who knows, we'll have it for just this 1 week, but luckily we are going to be able to keep the elusive gilded gavel that has eluded the grasp of any other group for at least another week, and we'll definitely be able to show this off. I do think that we're getting to the point where we might want to switch over to the new site, and if anybody has any quarrels with that, please let me know, because I think I'd like to step that up maybe sometime this week. There are some PR type awards that we'd like to shoot for, and one of them would be, best website. I'm going to try to show this off as much as possible. Best website, and I believe best social media, right? So I think we've been moving in positive directions on those, but I'd like to see what it would take to what it would take to see if we can really knock those out of the park. And I think the idea, I actually have an idea for integrating the two. For example, with our with Meetup, I think we can kind of run and drive the site as much as possible. Yeah, we should actually have, I like the idea, we should have a was it bocce ball or something? Yeah, okay. So we should probably have that kind of thing and maybe record it or something. But it isn't summertime, then it would make a lot more sense. But anyway, so I'm going to keep that out here, make sure everybody can see it. And I don't have a whole lot more to discuss. We're obviously going a little bit earlier because we only have one speech today. As far as as far as anything I'd like to add, I wanted to echo everything that the general evaluator Toastmaster had to say. I think we've had a great meeting. Obviously, we're a little bit early, but that's just because we have one speech. Typically, we have 2 or more. Next week, we have a special guest. We have David Rasmussen. If you remember him, he is the Speechcraft chair He helped us out with our Speedcraft event. He came here and gave a speech on that. He wanted to, there's an advanced manual speech called the interview or something like that. And he wanted to have an interview, so we're going to be doing that as we go on. It'll take up both speaking slots. And I'll be getting credit for essentially being the interviewee. So I'll have that as one of my speech. So it'll be interesting to see. And he's going to be talking to us about Speedcraft and what we learned and things like that. And of course, we've, as a club executive committee, have decided that we're going to be doing that every year, but we're doing the 4-speech format so that we won't be taking up giant swaths of the year. And we'll be doing that around the conference season in November. Anyway, do we have, so it says here, I'm going to be announcing next week's Toastmaster and explain the schedule. Let's see, next week we have, like I said, the Toastmaster will be Jesse, who's not in attendance right now, so we'll get that out. I'll talk to him about that, and I'll try to ask him to get a theme going, get that out as quickly as possible. I'd like it to be a little more early than just 1 or 2 days beforehand. Do we have a closing thought from the invocation timer, gentlemen?
We do. Resistance to change is nothing more than hardening of the attitudes.
Thank you, John. Well, that I will emphatically end the meeting with the Gilded Gavel. Oh, yes. Any closing announcements?
No, I have a question.
Sure.
Being that we have some extra time.
Sure.
And being that I've done a speech on the correct way to accept an award.
Yes.
And being that no one really remembers it, could we do a quick award acceptance drill?
Sure.
Thank you. Well, I'm gonna go to Alex.
We should do it in front of the camera. Yeah, right in front of the camera. Well, in fact, this actually brings up something I meant to mention. I like that, I believe it was Alex that came up here for the court jester role, and I would like, as much as possible, for people that have roles, whether it be an evaluation, court jester, things like that, to come in front of the camera, so that people don't have to just stare at the jelly bag. They can see just fine. All right.
So put that down.
Well,
I'm giving the award. The thing to remember is take and shake. So you take with your left, and you take up high so that there's a photo, and you shake with your right. That's how you transfer an award. Okay, so do it to me. Take with the left, shake with the right, optionally turn for a photo. Now I'm gonna let everybody pass this around the room. This is actually a
that's a
hard
great
one.
idea.
It's a hard one to do. So quit. You get to take and shake. Pass it around the room. Take.
Let's think of a word that rhymes. A word that rhymes that follows.
All right.
Take with the left, shake with the right.
Can we think of a word that rhymes with take and shake, that has like showing the works?
Take and shake.
It's good to practice.
Yeah.
Take.
That's a shake and take.
Come on.
Take that shake.
It's okay, congratulations.
So say you.
I took photos.
I congratulate you and giving you an award.
Take and shake. Not shake and take.
Are you sure?
Yep, I took photos for the ROTC in St. Cloud for 3 years, and
This is how we do it.
this is how they do it. Take, shake, optionally turn for a photo. And I did it with this general guy, and he was like dancing.
In which case, at least you don't for photo, but do not have because this is
Cross to the left, take,
yeah.
shake below.
At least leave an award in your hands and turn
Sorry,
for photo.
Shake and shake. Shake and shake.
You will.
Well done.
Any closing announcements?
Oh, I'll do a closing announcement.
Yes?
As someone who works here at Island, we've got a call for NBC speakers. If there's anyone that you would really like to see at next NBC, whether it's yourself or Scott Hanselman, please send us your ideas.
A question on that, is that just send an email with a title and abstract, or is it going to be an official call?
I think there will be an official call, but currently they are just looking for speaker ideas. So whether it's yourself or anyone else that you would really like to see think nationally.
What does NBC stand for?
Minnesota Developer Conference.
I was guessing that.
We have booth there.
Mike's developer.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Okay, so,
Many-
is it still in October?
I believe so.
It's an early call.
So it's moving to September.
It's September the last.
Yeah, late September, whatever.
Last Thursday.
That's an early call for speakers, all right. And with that, any other announcements? All right, now I will, for real, adjourn the meeting.
Did you,